I've owned my Ford Lightning for over 6 months now, and I'll be the first one to admit this truck is not right for everyone. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the pros and the cons and help you decide if the Ford Lightning is the right truck for you or not. Please hit that subscribe button. We're working really hard to grow this channel and appreciate your support. The number one comment I get on my videos about the Ford Lightning is the range and comparing the Lightning to a regular truck or regular F-150. They are not the same trucks and they have different intended purposes. So the latest stat is that only 25% of truck owners actually use their truck to tow something or carry a heavy load. And if that's you, if you're in the 25%, I'll tell you right now, the Ford Lightning's not the truck for you. You will lose range when you tow a trailer or if you are hauling an extremely heavy load. If it's a short distance and around town, you're probably okay. If it's across country, if you're towing a camper across the country, the Ford Lightning is not the truck for you. If you are in the 75% group that maybe you just, tow something around town, a small trailer, a boat across town, the Ford Lightning is a great truck. And that's the camp that I fall into. One of the things I love most about the Ford Lightning is that there's no maintenance. I traded in a 2017 F-150 for this Lightning, and the truck was in the shop all the time. I had several major repairs done to the engine, to the four-wheel drive system. It was constantly in the shop, and you have to get oil changes every 3 months. The Ford Lightning, the only maintenance you have to do is windshield washer fluid, keep the tires inflated, and once a year change the cabin air filter, and that's it. To me, that's a huge win for the Ford Lightning. When I first got the Lightning, I had a huge amount of range anxiety. I think most first-time EV owners do. I was totally freaked out, I admit. How far can I go? I was looking up charging stations around me, and it took a good 2.5 to 3 weeks to finally kind of just settle in and get used to the truck and the range and the charging. So far in 6 months of ownership, I've only charged it at home. I've never had to use a remote charging station yet, but the majority of my driving is probably within a 75-mile plus or minus range of my house. So if the Ford Lightning is your only vehicle, it may not be the best fit. For my family, we use my truck for our day-to-day stuff around town, but when we do need to take a road trip or we're going out of town long distances, we take our second vehicle, and that's a great use case for having an EV. Another important thing to consider is charging infrastructure. So if you live in a city that has a huge network of charging stations, that's just a win, right? You can probably go to the mall or the grocery store or wherever and easily plug in a charge. Here in Omaha, Nebraska, where I live, we have very few public charging stations so far, so that's something I had to consider before I decided to buy the Lightning. But what's interesting is now that Ford just announced they're partnering with Tesla to use their supercharger network, that's going to open up a whole nother realm of chargers. I've also done a lot of videos just about how well the truck drives. So again, comparing this to my 17 F-150, it is night and day. Driving the Lightning is more like a luxury car as far as the handling, right? It has the dual rear suspension, the instantaneous power. I've done a lot of videos about that. I'll post one here where I took the truck up to 103 miles an hour and it still had pull behind it. After driving the Lightning, I went and drove a buddy's F-150 and it feels totally antiquated. So after owning several regular pickup trucks and now making the change to the Ford Lightning, me personally, I would not switch back. Again, it took a while to get used to driving an electric truck, but I absolutely love it for all the reasons I just talked about. So if you fall in that camp, the Ford Lightning is probably a great EV, and there's all these new electric trucks coming out soon. So the Silverado next year, that could have up to 500 miles range for the top trim level. Maybe the Cybertruck, we'll see what happens with that. I do have a reservation in just to see if I'd get lucky enough to get one. But it's really opening up. So If you think it's a good fit for you, I'd highly recommend it. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below in this video. Catch you on the next one.